Broadcasting live from somewhere in the Shadow Realm, this is YuGiOh Duel Links Talk. Here's your host, Dimmaduel.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of YuGiOh Duel Links Talk. Today we're going to be revisiting the Crimson Kingdom box set, and we're going to be taking a look at the super rare cards that are in here and seeing exactly how many of these are just all around awesome cards and how many are kind of on the fence and make you scratch your head as to why is this even considered a super rare aside for just possibly being a filler. So without further ado, let's just start going through some of these. The first super rare we have here is Buster Blader the Destruction Swordmaster. It's a level 7 warrior, 2600 attack, 2300 defense. This card's name becomes Buster Blader while it's on the field or in the graveyard. If a monster your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one of those destroyed monsters and equip it to this card. Once per turn, you can send one monster card you control that is equipped to this card to the graveyard and destroy all monsters your opponent controls with the same type as that monster sent to the graveyard. This effect is just unbelievably awesome. If you know that your opponent is running a deck with all one type of monster, say they're running a Fiend deck or a Spellcaster deck or some kind of Warrior or Dragon deck, of course, it's the first one that comes to mind is the Dragon deck. Buster Blader the Destruction Swordmaster just cleans house, because what you want to do is just grab one of those opponent's monsters, whether it be a dragon monster or whatever, and attach it to your Buster Blader the Destruction Swordmaster. Then in the next turn, activate the effect, and any of those monsters that are on your opponent's side of the field destroys all of them. So yeah, and with 2600 attack and 2300 defense, it's just a formidable earth monster. I mean, the thing is just great. This is one of my favorite super rares out of this set, but not as favorite as the next super rare. This one is by far my favorite out of the set, is Endymion the Master Magician. It's another level 7, but this one's a spellcaster, 2700 attack, 1700 defense. However, its effect is awesome. You can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by removing 6 spell counters from a magic Citadel of Endymion you control. If summoned this way, target one spell card in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. Once per turn, you can discard one spell card, then target one card on the field and destroy that target. So in a deck where you know that more often than not you're going to be running mostly spell cards and not a whole lot of trap cards, Endymion the Master Magician is just a monster of a card, because here's the trick. It's not just targeting one monster your opponent controls or one spell or trap card your opponent controls. You're targeting one card on the field. It could be one of your own. So say, for example, even if there's a card that you don't want to have on the field anymore for whatever reason, you could use Endymion's effect by discarding one of your spell cards to destroy that monster, or destroy one of your opponent's spell cards. The first thing I think of is getting rid of Harpy's Hunting Ground off the field. Now, I may be a little salty about that, but you could use this effect for just about anything. If you want to get a pesky monster out of the way, or a pesky spell or trap, this thing does it all. So this is a card that I want to have multiple copies of. This is a card right now that I like to run in a 3-star demotion deck that I have a lot of spell cards. It's very spell-oriented, so Endymion the Master Magician is a perfect fit for that type of deck. You don't need necessarily a summoning requirement, since you can get it on the field with your 3-star demotion. And you're able to just start cleaning up your opponents as long as you have a spell card in your hand. And with 2700 attack, it is one of the stronger level 7 monsters that you could get out there. So yeah, just all around fantastic card. You could probably see why that's my favorite one right now. Next we have a Red Eyes Zombie Dragon. The Red Eyes streak continues. We got a level 7 zombie monster, 2400 attack, 2000 defense. You contribute summon this card in face-up attack position by tributing one zombie-type monster. When this card destroys a zombie-type monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your side of the field. So with the increasing popularity of zombie decks since Crimson Kingdom came out, having a Red Eye Zombie Dragon to destroy your opponent's zombie monsters and then take control of it could go really, really well. And depending on what other cards you're using, and you're potentially putting zombie monsters on your opponent's side of the field, or if you're changing the type of their monsters to zombie, I think this just makes this card even better. So Red Eye Zombie Dragon, just another addition to the Red Eyes set, and I can't complain, but this one really fits in a zombie deck build because of its summoning requirement. So like I said, only requiring one zombie for tribute really makes this a formidable zombie card. So Excellent card. Next, we have Goku the Pyre of Malice. It's a level 6 zombie with 2200 attack and 1900 defense. If you control a fire monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. When you do, target one fire monster you control and destroy that target. During each of your standby phases, special summon one fireball token, pyro type, fire, level 1, attack 100, defense 100, in defense position. You contribute one other fire monster, and this card gains 500 attack until the end phase. So what you'll typically see with this combo, once it's on the field, is you'll put the fire token on the field in defense position to start your turn, and then destroy that because it's a fire type token, and then thus increasing your Goku the Pyre of Malice's attack up to 2700 because you're adding 500 attack to the 2200. So it's a really strong card, and with it only being a level 6, this thing is just all around a great card. And it's zombies, so it could also fit into certain decks. But for me, I've ran a few copies of some fire decks, and I could already think of a few combos that I could run using Goku the Pyre of Malice. So that one's a really good card. Next, we have Dark General Freed, a super rare level 5 warrior, 2300 attack, 1700 defense. It cannot be special summoned. Negate any spell effects that target a face-up dark monster you control, and if you do, destroy that spell card. During your draw phase, instead of conducting your normal draw, you can add one level 4 dark monster from your deck to your hand. This card must be face-up on the field to activate and to resolve this effect. So with Dark General Freed, I love the searchability of it. If you have a specific level 4 dark monster from your deck that you want to add to your hand, Dark General Freed is just a great card to have in the process. So yeah, this one's really good for your warrior decks. And also the next card here that I have, Freed the Matchless General, level 5 warrior, 2300 attack, 1700 defense. Negate any spell effects that target this card, and if you do, destroy that spell card. During your draw phase, instead of conducting your normal draw, you can add one level 4 or lower warrior type monster from your deck to your hand. This card must be face up on the field to activate and to resolve this effect. So between Freed the Matchless General and Dark General Freed, you got a lot of searchability with both of these level 5 monsters. I know they're both warriors, and one searches dark monsters, so it's a little bit more broad, but Freed the Matchless General allows you to search a level 4 or lower warrior type monster, so at least you could get a level 2 or a level 3. If you're looking for a specific warrior, Freed gives you some more durability in that regard if you're running, an exclusively warrior deck. Both of these cards can have just a huge impact on a duel, so yeah, they're great super rares. Next is the bit of a head scratcher. You have Speedbird, level 4, winged beast, 1200 attack, 1000 defense. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target 2 level 2 monsters in your graveyard and special summon them, but their effects are negated. So if you're running a deck with a lot of level 2 or monsters or anything like that, yes, Speedbird can be a pretty useful card and set you up for possibly a nice tribute summon on your next turn, or maybe as the game expands, you're going to have more use for Speedbird. But right now, I'm not really seeing it. I'm not sure why this is a super rare, but it is, and that's one that, I don't think too many people are thrilled about getting when they see all the shininess of opening up a pack with a super rare in it. Next, you have Feast of the Wild, level 5. It's a spell card where you special summon up to 2 level 5 warrior-type monsters from your hand and or graveyard, but their effects are negated. Also, for the rest of this turn, they cannot attack. A good way to fill your field if you do have a lot of level 5 warriors. Nothing wrong with that. Next, you have a super rare Magical Citadel of Endymion. It's a field spell card where each time a spell card is activated, place one spell counter on this card when that spell card resolves. If a card with a spell counter is destroyed, place its spell counters on this card. Once per turn, if you would activate a card effect by removing a spell counter from your side of the field, you can remove that many spell counters from this card instead. If this card would be destroyed, you can remove one spell counter from this card instead. So I like this card a lot because it has staying power. If anyone's trying to destroy it, you're just able to take one counter off of it. So Magical Citadel of Endymion is great, and of course it also sets you up for that other really powerful level 7 Endymion Magician card. So, also, next we have Divine Sword, Phoenix Blade. It's an equip spell card where you equip only to a warrior-type monster. It gains 300 attack. During your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can remove from play 2 warrior-type monsters in your graveyard to add this card to your hand. So I like this one because it has a little bit of recyclability to it, especially if you're going through a lot of warrior-type monsters and you're just trying to look for an extra attack boost. Having Divine Sword, Phoenix Blade is not the worst card. It's not the best one out of this set of super rares, but it's pretty good, especially if you're running a warrior deck. I think it's a must-have. Next, you have another super rare, the Warrior Returning Alive. A spell card where you target one warrior type monster in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. So, yeah, this one has a lot of uses. This is kind of like a monster reincarnation type deal without the cost of discarding to draw. But the Warrior Returning Alive for warrior decks is another absolute must. Next, you have Inspiration, a super rare trap card where you target one face-up monster you control and it gains 700 attack until the end of this turn. So instead of your typical reinforcements card or something like that, this one's better because, of course, it increases your monster's attack by 700 attack. So this is usually enough to help kind of turn the tide on your opponent. Not a bad card to have. So that's it for the super rares. I know there's a few really good rares that are in here, one of which is the notorious Buster Blader, level 7. I feel like this is a really hard rare to get, I've noticed, and I don't think I'm the only one. There's been a few people talking with me out on Twitter about how difficult Buster Blader has been to get as just a rare, but still, it's a level 7, 2600 attack, 2300 defense. This card gains 500 attack for each dragon-type monster your opponent controls or is in their graveyard. So just an absolute classic. It's a really good card. That's just one of the rares that I want to keep my eye on. And you also have your Vampire Genesis. That's another rare that goes along with your Vampire Lord Ultra Rare. So there's a few good complementary pieces in here that are rares, but I know today's episode was just about the supers. So I hope these are some really good cards that you're going to be trying to get, or if there's some that you're hoping you get but haven't got them yet, or vice versa. Or ones that you didn't want, but you've been just pulling them out of your packs. I'd love to hear about it. Just reach out to me on Twitter at YuGiOh Deck Talk. It's all one word, at YuGiOh Deck Talk. And we'll touch base with some more of these box sets, and we'll do a little bit more analysis on them moving forward if that's the kind of thing you guys want. So anyway, that's it for today's episode. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.